morning, guys. Hope all is well. This is going to be a pretty long video. I have been doing some research. Uh, I've been a bit down, so what I've been doing is just doing research to see where I can go to do my training afterwards. This video will have information for those who want to study in Canada, those who want to study in the United States, and those who want to study in the UK. And this is probably one of my more comprehensive videos, and I'm going to point you in the right direction. Okay, so let's start with Canada. Canada has about 6 programs that you can do oral and maxillofacial surgery at. Dalhousie or Dalhousie, University of Toronto. There's Western or Schulich. There's McGill, Manitoba, and another one I can't think. Alberta is one. Okay. Of those 6 programs, only 2 will allow international graduates into it. Those are University of Manitoba and University of McGill. University of McGill has a 4-year program for sponsored persons who can prove that they will be, I think it's that they'll be heading back to their country after they have completed the program. University of Manitoba put on their website, on occasion, they allow international graduates to enter into their program. So those are the 2 universities that you should check out if you want to go to Canada. Here's the thing with Canada. You must have permanent residency or Canadian citizenship to apply. Straight up. So if you're going to finish, or say for instance, you're in dental school right now and you want to go to Canada afterwards. If you don't have PR or citizenship, you should get started on that right away. So do your IELTS, which is about 300 US, and try to get into the PR system right away. Now, there are some issues with applying to Canada. So for instance, your dental board examinations, you cannot just do them in dental school so that when you're finished, you have completed your dental courses. You actually have to wait until you have a dental degree and apply for these exams, and these exams are done at specific times. It's not like America where you can do exams almost any time. The exams, AFK, ACJ, ACS, NDEB. So the AFK is the, I think it's the fundamentals of knowledge. The ACJ is the core judgment, and I think there's the CS, which is core clinical skills or clinical skills exam. And then they approve you to go into the NDEB exam, which is the equivalent of the MBDE of the United States. Now you can actually jump from the AFK straight into a program into the UK, in Canada, sorry, and do the 2-year program, which is a lot of money. So those exams take some time. COVID has kind of delayed a lot of that. University of Manitoba and University of McGill were universities that I actually emailed and got information with regards to that there. I was looking at another alternative route, which was to apply to ENT in Canada. ENT in Canada, there's one place in Canada that does ENT, and it's the University of Ottawa. And this is when I say does ENT, as in it does ENT and allows international graduates to get into this program. And that's the University of Ottawa. One person from one IMG has gotten into that program in the last couple of years, and 2 in the last 10. So it's a very hard program to get into, but it's not impossible. If you are duly qualified for Canada, I would advise you, and you're really set on going to Canada, I would advise you to do the MCCQE1, the NAC, and apply for the match to try to get into maybe a general surgery preliminary post, or try to match for ENT. I would also do the exams I just mentioned, which would be the AFK, ACJ, ACS, NDEB examinations. So I would have all my dental and medical board examinations along with my PR and citizenship. That's it for Canada. Basically, those are your options. Either go back to school for 2 years, do all of those examinations, and hope that you get into a residency program while still having PR and citizenship. PR and citizenship in Canada is 100% needed. I don't even think some persons are even considered if they're not a PR or citizen of Canada. Now, in terms of training, Canada is a great place to learn to be an oral surgeon or ENT surgeon or any surgeon that you want to be, because it's a first world country. It's an amazing healthcare system. I think the only one that we rank higher than that would be France and maybe even the UK in terms of basic needs provided for their patients. And But that was surprising. That was what my research dug up. Now let's go to the United States. United States, I've been through this a million times. Most persons will tell you that you have to go back to school for 2 years. That's because even if you do the NBDE examination, you still need a state's license. And to have a state's license, you have to graduate from a CODA or an approved program, which is usually an American program. For residency programs, you can apply to certain places like for ortho, endo, you will be allowed in. You might not be allowed to practice there, but you may be allowed in. For oral surgery, now it's a bit more difficult and more technical. So places that accept international dental graduates would be Tufts, Ohio State, and University of Maryland. Now I wrote down some of the things that they require. So for Tufts, you need to do your TOEFL or IELTS, and they actually put on the page that it would be in your best interest to do an OMFS internship as a GPR residency in the States or an AGDE program in the States. Externships are always looked at favorably. You need to do your NBDE and you need to get a state's license. I'm not certain how you go about getting the state's license, but some places they won't even allow you to do those exams if you are not from, or your degree is not from the States. Some of these places will actually sponsor your visa. However, there's actually, I think it was not Maryland, where it was, I think it was Ohio State that stated that if you're an international medical graduate, you still need to be a permanent resident. Not medical, international dental graduate, you still need to be a permanent resident or a citizen. But the other ones, they may give you, they may sponsor you a degree, sponsor your visa, sorry. So from start to finish, NBDE, you may need to do ADEX or any of those state board exams. If you are duly qualified, I would definitely advise you to do your USMLE examination because we are not eligible for CBSE apparently. I think CBSE is for those who are from American dental schools who want to match into oral surgery. Do your USMLE Step 1, Step 2 CK and try to get really high scores in the Step 2 CK at least. This is for persons who are duly qualified. And apply. Do an externship. Externships seem to be very, very helpful with persons who want to do residencies in Canada. Canada and the States. So for the UK now, y'all know, most of you that watch my channel know that I have the UK pretty locked in terms of what to do. For the UK, you have to be duly qualified. If you can afford to do your second degree in the UK, go ahead and do it. But I would advise you, if you cannot afford it, do your second and first degree in your home country, then do the examinations in the UK if you're going there. So for the UK, here's the thing. In my instance, my plan was to do MRCS, which was done in 2017. If you don't want to do MRCS, you can do PLAB. But MRCS puts you above a lot of other applicants. So do your MRCS if you can. For me, I may have to do DONS, or Diploma Head and Neck Surgery, Part 2, which is the OSCE, because I did my MRCS in 2017 and more than 3 years has elapsed, so they may give me a little bit of problems with the GMC. I'm hoping that because I've been continuing my education with dental school, that they don't give me any stress, but if they do, I may have to do DONS Part 2. For those who are doing dentistry first, and they want to go up and do their medical degree, I would advise you to do the LDS or the ORE examinations, which would allow you to register your dental qualification with the GDC and see if you can at least get on a working visa, as a work study visa, so that you can work as a dentist and study as a medical doctor. I don't know how it works, but that is what I would advise, because you get that right out of the way. As for the application for jobs after you become duly qualified, apply for a junior training post, which should be like a 12-month post in either it'll be a 6 month in one thing and a 6 month in another thing. I was advised to do a 6 month in medicine, a medical allied specialty, and a 6 months in a surgical specialty, whether it be ENT or plastics. Do not just go straight up and say, okay, I'm going to apply for oral and maxillofacial surgery directly. There's something called core surgical training, and your best bet is to try not to get the 18 months outside of the UK of surgical training, because if you're in surgical training for more than 18 months, you're not eligible for core surgical training. So you don't want that. You don't want to be in surgery. You don't want to be working in a unit for 4 or 5 years in surgery. Like, if, say for instance, you are, this goes for all surgical specialties. If you want to be a surgeon in the UK, you don't want to be a person who has been in surgery for 5 years in general surgery. You weren't in a program, you didn't complete a program, but you were in surgery for 5 years. When you come now, you're automatically pushed out of core surgical training, because they're going to ask, what were you doing for the last 5 years? Going to allied specialties. So for instance, I have a friend, he's doing ENT, he's trying to do PEDS now, which is an allied specialty of ENT. And these are things that you have to look at. Master's degrees, they apparently don't really help you that much in terms of getting into a program. So for instance, if you want to do a master's in oral surgery and you want to get into oral and maxillofacial surgical training in the UK, it's not really the biggest step. The best step that you can do is MRCS, maybe MRCS ENT, not so much, but those are the things that you need to look at. So you get the junior training post, you work for a time and you learn, you're in the UK system, and you try to apply to courses, things such as the CCRISP, Care for the Critically Ill Surgical Patient, any course that will aid, because there's actually a points form that you're going to get, and this points form will show you things for your portfolio. Your portfolio is going to let you know if you're a competitive applicant or not. So you have to try to fill in all of those voids as much as you can. Impress your consultants. Most of you who are passionate about surgery, that's not going to be hard, especially if you're from a so-called third world country. That's not going to be hard, because we're already stretched beyond our limit and we're still pushing. So that's just normal. So those are the things that you need to do. As it pertains to visas, the visa process, I won't go too in depth in that. But if you have kids, you can go with them as well too. In terms of jobs, as I told you, junior training posts first, because you're not going to go from your home country straight into a program. You're going to go, you're going to work, you're going to pay your dues for about a year, and then afterwards you're going to progress into a training post. As I've done a video before on how long the training posts, not training posts, but how long the program takes in the UK, US, and Canada. So you know that already. I hope this is helpful. I've actually added a little button in the About section of this page. If you want to drop an aid or drop a donation, that's okay. If you don't, that's fine. Just like, subscribe, and keep focused on your dream.